Todd Senofonte, Jean-Claude Van Damme stunt double.
What is up?
Yes.
And we got to get the whole story, Todd, because you've been kind of telling me, and you just told Brian the story is going to knock our socks off on how you ended up becoming his stunt double. You know, everything related to that.
Well, you guys got your popcorn ready
Always.
with extra butter?
Hopefully, the audience at home
What's
does.
the cholesterol, brother?
For your audience, I told Brian and David, if my story doesn't knock your socks off, I'm going to buy you some free beers. So we'll get into it. And if you
For
hear my
sure.
dogs barking, just my dogs.
That's
are
the
outside.
ambiance, brother. This is real life.
All right, so guys, back in 1991, I graduated basic training. I was in the military for 6 years, and the night before we graduated, the drill sergeants rolled in this TV with a VCR, popped in a movie, and the drill sergeant said, "Enjoy, gentlemen." So we started the movie, watching the movie, and it was Kickboxer.
Okay.
So we're watching it, 10 minutes, 15 minutes into the movie. The guy's just looking at me. What are you looking at me for? Man, you look like that guy. I said, who is it? Oh, that's Jean-Claude Van Damme. So we start watching. Movie ends. Ah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I can see the little resemblance. I graduated basic training. At the time, I was in Dunmore, Pennsylvania. I say Scranton, Pennsylvania, because Scranton's on the map, northeast Pennsylvania. So I go back to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I'm staying with my mom and dad. So I went to Bloomsburg University. I was going to be a teacher. I was going to stay in school. I was going to be a coach, live a normal life.
You don't mind me asking real quick, what branch?
Army National Guard.
Army. Okay, gotcha.
So I graduated basic training. And then one day, me and my buddies went to this place called Murray's in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It's like an outdoor patio type of bar. We walked in, and I see Ray Hollett, one of the original American Gladiators. She's from Pennsylvania. I walked over. Hey, Ray. Hey, Todd Senofonte. Nice to meet you. She goes, I thought you were Jean-Claude Van Damme when you walked in. I said, Ray, so many people have been telling me that. She goes, before you leave, come see me. So about an hour, so it starts raining. My buddies go, let's get out of here. I said, hold on, I gotta go find Ray. Ooh, there she is. I walked over. Hey, Ray, we're taking off. She goes, Todd, let's meet next week. I really want to talk to you. Write up a bio. I really want to talk to you about this. I said, all right. So we meet the following week for lunch. I had the lobster bisque. So we just started talking, and that was a joke.
I met this lawyer. We went out to dinner. I had the lobster bisque. We went back to my place, yada, yada, yada. I never heard from him again.
Lobster bisque. Hello?
Yeah.
Seinfeld? All right,
Yeah, no, I got this. I was thinking Seinfeld when you said it, the bisque, but...
I do it.
Don't you yada yada over the best part?
No, I mentioned the bisque.
Okay. So I said, Ray, what do you recommend I do? She goes, why don't you start taking some pictures? Try to local modeling job. One day I was sitting at my mom and dad's table, and I got the paper out, and it said local model actor needed. I called up. I said, hey, I was just wondering if you can. Yeah, come on down. I go down, and it's for this brochure. It's for like a home appliance, stoves, microwaves. They give you a shirt that says Joe with a long screwdriver. Okay, go over to that stove and tighten the screw. All right, tighten the screw. Okay, look at the camera. Look at the camera. Okay, now go to the refrigerator. Camera. The guy taking a picture goes, you know who you look like? I go, Eddie Murphy? No, you look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. We finished a little shoot. The guy reaches in his pocket, pulls out a business card. He goes, here, see what you can do with it. I look at it. ICM, Jack Gilardi's office, Beverly Hills. Now we're in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I'm like, all right, cool, thank you. Put my back in my shirt. We finish. I go back, and a couple, 2-3 days later, I find the card. I'm eating Cocoa Puffs at my mom and dad's house. What the heck? I called my cousin up, Gigi. She's a photographer. I said, Gigi, can you take some pictures of me doing the kicks and the splits? Yeah, come on down. So we go down, take the pictures. I get the pictures back. I get the address. I FedEx them from Scranton, Pennsylvania to Beverly Hills, not thinking anything of it. Couple, 2, 3 days later, my mom says, "Hey, you got a message. 310. Where's 31? That's California." So I called the number. I said, "Hey, Todd Senofonte, returning your call. Hey, Todd, we received your packet. You look great. Mr. Van Damme is out of the country, but we're gonna make sure he sees these." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." Hung the phone up and like calling my buddies. "Hey, guess what? Guess what?" So I waited a couple more weeks. Didn't hear anything. I sent more pictures. Waited 2 more weeks. Sent more pictures. Then I finally called.
It's funny that everyone kept saying, well, obviously when you were watching with your army dudes, you guys were literally watching the movie, but other people outside of that was just saying, hey, you know who you remind me of? You know who you remind me of? It just kind of lets you know how big of a deal and how popular Van Damme was starting to be, because this was Kickboxer, I believe he said, in 1991. And I remember as a
Yeah.
kid, like, I didn't know anything about Jean-Claude Van Damme. I was living on an army base because I'm an army brat. And my dad's friend that lived a couple houses down was talking to my dad, like, hey, there's this new guy. His name's Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he's like this European karate champion master guy, and he's got this new movie called Kickboxer, and I guess it was like on HBO at the time, and he's like, you got to watch it at my house. So I even like heard the name, you know, even back then. So he was starting to become like a big deal, just popularity wise.
Yeah.
So you took these cool ass
Package.
pictures of you doing the
Yeah.
splits and the kicks, and you're gonna
So
FedEx
yeah.
them.
So they FedExed them. I called them up and they said, "Yeah, great. We're gonna keep in touch." Called them my buddies. Waited a few more weeks. Nothing. Sent more. Couple more weeks. Sent. Nothing. Then I finally called them. I said, "Hey, Todd Senofonte, just checking in with you. Hey, Todd, we're glad you called. Jean-Claude is doing a film in Pittsburgh called Sudden Death. Now we're not going to guarantee you anything, but you never know." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I packed my little Subaru up and I drove 5 hours west to Pittsburgh. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't care. Park. I walk up to the production office, walk into the production office, and there's a girl at the desk writing something down. She looks at me. "Hey, Mr. Van Damme, you're here." I'm like, "No, I'm just Todd. I'm here for the possible stand-in photo double." "Oh, well, have a seat." So I sit down. The second AD, second assistant director. I like to clarify something. Maybe some of your viewers don't know the proper lingo, so I'll try to just explain it to them in detail. A second AD is a second assistant director. Then there's a first AD, first assistant director. Then there's a director. So the second AD comes in and says, "Todd, any chance you could come back next week to meet the director?" I'm like, let me see. Check my Rolodex. Yeah. I go back to Scranton, come back the next week, same thing, Park, production. Second ED comes out and he goes, "Hey, Todd, did you meet JC yet?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Come with me." So we're walking down the hallway and I see him in the distance. He's got his robe on, looking at his wardrobe. And the second ED goes, "Hey, JC, this is Todd. He's going to be your new stand in." Jean-Claude walks over and he goes, "Whoa, great double. Where'd you find this guy?" I'm like, "Hey, Jean-Claude, pleasure to meet you. Big fan." He goes, "Great, great. We'll see you on set." So that was initially my job. I was hired as just his stand-in.
You got a job?
Yeah, Mickey, he hooked me up. We're stand-ins.
Mhm.
And again, there's a stand-in, there's a photo double, and a stunt double. 3 different jobs. It's going to come into play after one of these stories I tell you, because it's a very sensitive topic. So my job was to come in before the actor, Jean-Claude, comes in. Now, stand-in is an actor that comes in before the actor or the actress comes on the set. A stand-in gets the lighting and the camera angle. So I would come on the set, and the director of photographer would say, "Okay, Todd, sit there for a second, look this way, get up and walk." So that's what I would do. I would get the lighting, get the camera angle. Jean-Claude would come on the set. I go, "Okay, Jean-Claude, you got to sit here, look that way, get up and walk." So specifically, that was my job as a stand-in.
Mhm.
And then eventually I got to do photo double. But there was one time where we're in the Civic Arena. Now I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm a Steelers fan, Penguins fan. I was in heaven because it was during the hockey strike, so the Civic Arena was shut down. So there's a scene where there's a crowd of people, and Jean-Claude is on the second level, and the director photographer said, "Okay, Todd, stand here, look over, look this way." And there's about 200, 250 people, a lot of, a lot of girls. From behind, I hear a voice say, "Hey, which one do you like?" Turn to Jean-Claude. I go, "Oh, the girl in the green's pretty hot." He goes, "Yeah, but you got to be careful these days." I said, "Yeah, I know, I know. I was in a really long relationship and we broke up." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "Stay here." He does a scene. He comes back up the steps. He goes, "Come with me." We go up to the top level and we're sitting down. And he goes, "So, tell me, what happened?" I was like, "Well, I had this opportunity. And she wanted to get married. I took the opportunity." He goes, "Relationships in this business is hard. They work, but it's very difficult." I said, "Yeah, I know." So then we just started talking about training, working, eating, and the little uh, a girl comes up, a PA girl comes up and says, "Okay, Todd, they're ready for you." I look at Jean-Claude, I look at the girl, I said, "Hey, I'm talking to Jean-Claude here." She goes, "Ooh." I said, "No, I'm joking. I'm joking." He laughs. He goes, "Okay, we'll see you later." So that was our first bonding moment
Mm-hmm.
on sudden death. So as the movie progressed, um, like I said, just the stand-in work, and then we're at here's where the sensitive issue of a photo double and a stunt double comes in. I started doing the photo doubling where they do the inserts of the actor's hands running away from the camera. It's all about saving time and money. When they don't really need an actor or an actress on the set, they'll use a double.
Sure.
So that's pretty much what I was doing. Stand in, then I got to do some of the photo doubling. We had this night off, this day off. So that night we went to this place, I believe it was called Donzi's or Chauncey's in Pittsburgh. And we're there, hanging out, a couple of crew members. And the DJ goes goes over the mic and he goes, "And everybody, I guess you've heard we're doing a film in Pittsburgh called Sudden Death, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, and we have this stunt double here, Todd Senofonte." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I ran over to the guy. He goes, "Dude," he goes, "I'm just his photo double. I'm not his stunt double." Oh, okay. Mark Stefanich, Jean-Claude's original stunt double, ex Navy SEAL. David liked this guy, ex Navy SEAL. He was there. He sees me. He grabs me. He goes, "Hey, I don't appreciate you taking my credit." I go, "Mark, on a stack of Bibles, I say stunt double. Some of these people don't know the difference." He goes, "All right, man. I believe you. I believe you." So the next morning, I went over to the stunt coordinator. I said, "I'm sure you heard what happened." He goes, I heard. He goes, "Your time is going to come." I go, "Any chance I can do?" He goes, "Just do your job. Your time is going to come." So I did more of the photo doubling. So throughout sudden death, um, I coming towards the end of the film, I didn't know if this is going to be, the only project I've ever done with him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking. 2 days before the um, end of the shoot, I just walk over to Jean Claude. I said, "Jean Claude," I said, "Any chance you need me for the quest?" He goes, "Okay, go over to the producer, give him your information." Now back then, '94, you had to write stuff down. There was
Mm-hmm.
no tweeting or Instagram and all that. So I wrote my information down, went over to the producer. I said, "Jean Claude said if you need me." Okay, great. They get the information. Um, so we finish Sudden Death. I go back to my mom and dad. A month and a half later, I get a call from the first AD, Jack Frost Sanders, first AD. He goes, "Hey, Todd, we're just checking to see if you're available for the quest." I'm like, "Hey, let me check my schedule here." "Yeah." Um, he goes, "Okay, don't shave. Don't cut your hair. We need your hair long and a beard."